Welcome to our interview series with WellNest Global and international holistic experts, Consilience, exploring new ways of thriving. You can find this series on our YouTube channel at WellNest Global. And our intention with this program is to empower our audience with tools, wisdom, and resources to assist you in your journey of thriving in this life. Hey everyone, welcome to Consilience, exploring new ways of thriving. Today we have with us Denicia Hilton Harper, authentic leadership and holistic well-being consultant and doctor of Oriental medicine. Welcome, Denicia.
Hey, how are you? I'm like, this is going to be so fantastical.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so good. So far, so good. We've really been enjoying talking to each other this morning, and I'm ready for, our audience to learn a little bit more about you. So tell us, who you are. What's your story?
Yay. Okay. So hello audience. So welcome. I would like to welcome you to the perfect playground. It's this, it's really like legit. Like that's the space that I call it, that I'm like, if I'm anywhere, that's what it is. We're gonna imagine that we're on this perfect playground, a space where people can just come and be who they are, their most authentic, their perfect authentic self. And if you're curious about who or what that is, this is all about playful experiences for you to discover and be your perfect authentic self. And so that you can actually see that you can do that in all areas of life. And you can do so with clarity, confidence, and compassion. So it's, yeah, like that's just where everything is right now. It came to be because I've been practicing as a doctor of Eastern medicine for a little while. And I got to see that I really loved out of the practice, like, yes, I love seeing that people were sending me texts like, this is the easiest period ever, or like, I'm pregnant now, like those things were so cool and so awesome. And then I started realizing that I was really, really enjoying hearing the pieces of, you know what, Tasia? This situation happened and I didn't even have that reaction that I usually have. Or I was able to say, like, this is what I'd like to do instead. Or I took on this client versus that one and I felt good. And then they got to see the tie of really expressing who they were, like their core desires. They got to see the link to how it was showing up in their holistic health. And then that meant like reduced cramping, headache issues, reduced digestive issues, and all of that jazz. So, like, I was like, this is so much fun. Like, they get to be who they really want to be, and they get to see that it's okay. Like, their worlds didn't crumble. And at the same time, their relationships changed. They had more fulfilling and meaningful relationships. They trusted themselves and their bodies more. They got to see that they were source. Like they didn't have to depend on outside of them, right? Like it's just amazing to me to see that. And then I shifted in closing my clinic to just offering services where it is, what tools can I offer people that they get to see that, like, for themselves, like, who am I really, a little bit stuck, and then but can I have some fun during this, because like we get to have fun. And so I ask myself that all the time, like, what can we do to jazz this up?
Yeah, because that's kind of a mindset shift for a lot of people, right? That you can be on your purpose and you can be in your health, but it can also be fun because we have that
Mhm.
like life is hard, work hard and die.
Yeah,
We'll get
like, why I gotta be like that? It doesn't have to be like that.
No, yeah, it really doesn't have to be like that. And I love those components that you mentioned was, the non-judgment, the clarity, the confidence, and the compassion that you can be
Mhm.
your full self with all of that. But I think that overcoming the judgment of others is probably a big step for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. Like, most definitely. And actually, I like to encourage people to see where it is that they are doing those judgments, and explore that. So I will say, because sometimes I remember, I just had a thought. or a memory pop up when I had been on this whole spiritual getting to know thyself thing journey for a long time. Now that I think about it, like probably since I was a kid, I first heard about astrology and just loved it. And I remember going to the library, checking out books and all that jazz. But I didn't know that that was under that realm. Like it wasn't until I was an adult to realize, like, oh, you've been doing this whole spiritual thing for a while. But so the one piece where I could say as an adult where I like said, "Ooh, this is my intention and I'm going to really." So it was actually in the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Dr. Deepak Chopra, and I had been exposed to the word judgment through the lens of religion. And so because of that, the connotation is a lot heavier, and it can be used to manipulate and all of that, right? So I realized in reading that book, I had to, my relationship with that word changed dramatically. And so I love the simplicity that he put to it. And it was like just simply seeing, wow, saying something is hot, like my water is hot or cold, is a judgment.
Yeah.
Right. Saying something that is good or bad is a judgment. And so, and I do want to say positive or negative is a judgment because those terms are used so much like in the spiritual spaces and the self-development spaces, because and the reason why it's so important, I think, to realize where it is that you're seeing it and where you're using it yourself is because oftentimes if you're seeing on the out, you're more than likely talking that for yourself, right? And so like you'll see this, I have to be stay positive, like you see languaging like that, and or don't experience the negative emotions, like this is, don't be in the negative. And this is where I put out there perfect and the idea of perfection to people and letting them see, well, the root meaning of perfect is whole and complete, right? So then that means that if I'm seeing you as a whole person, you can see yourself as a whole person. That includes what you may consider positive and negative, right? Good and bad, right? The idea here, though, is to practice the non judgment where it just is.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that point, what can you do? What changes? Um, and if you're, and this is why I love bringing in emotions too from this angle, from like not only from this angle, but it's informed by Eastern medicine, right? And even when I was studying it, I'm going, what? Like looking at these emotions, like we want to know when there's grief. We can use the worry for benefit, the anger. Wow. Like, because most of the time people are taught to either not feel it or hurry up and rush through those quote unquote negative emotions to get to the quote unquote positive emotions. In that process, though, we're neglecting the whole experience, the perfection of the experience, and then learning through that. Where is the worry? Why? Where is the grief? Why? What is your way, your jam in processing it? And should you need support in that, great. That's where the clarity comes from. But you had to become aware of that's where you were at, right? Like, and then you can then seek support to facilitate that process for you. Um, and you notice I said support and facilitate, not looking for a healer, because I do believe people can heal themselves. I'm merely being a facilitator for you, but you have to be the foundation, and then we support on that, right? And so yeah, like I think that was a bunch of different things that were just kind of flowing out.
Yeah, that's great. That's what that's what we want to hear from you. We want it to come from your heart and hear, about who you are, what you do and why. And I love so much of what you were saying. I was taking notes there about using your emotion for the benefits. When we hear about that, like toxic positivity and just staying focused on staying, you know, we all want to be living in positive emotion as much as possible, but the human experience is not all about being in positive emotion all the time. So
Yeah.
I love that you go into that and you help facilitate people in that process of recognizing what they're feeling and why,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's
There's
okay, you know?
so much wisdom in the emotions. Like, and I feel if we had more spaces and environments that actually welcomed the emotions, and provided the tools to teach. This is where it is that I've come to like these three R's of like what comes, like the three R results or whatever, while playing on the playground, is that there is relationships that are going to be more meaningful and all of that. That includes the self. Okay. The self and others in the environment. But then the second is responsibility. So they're separated, it's hyphenated. So it's your ability to respond. And you can see that playing out like in various ways. It's responding versus reacting. It's reacting because reacting actually can be beneficial to you, especially when it's life or death and you'd want the reaction. But then also like the biophysical response when it comes to immune response, right? And then still adjusting to environments and whatnot. But it's under that second R of responsibility that we do look at. If we were to tie in the emotions, it's you're responding to something, right? Like you don't have to own it. We're wanting to recognize it and then see what it does. Like, and so with this lens in Eastern medicine, the emotions even have directions of energy movement. And I remember in one class, like one lecture, oh man, this was like the day that anger changed for me, because I prided myself on being able to be pretty much even keeled. So I thought, like I am pretty much an even keeled person. Until like you might be closest to me, and then you'll see where my moods might change more. But like I was around I was around where fly off the wall yelling and stuff like that. So my response was I don't want that. So I would be quieter and would just kind of pride myself on, "No, I'm not going to jump off the handle. I don't have to." And I could take my time and respond, right? But then that was the way I thought until I was in school. And then hearing my teacher say, "You want somebody to be angry." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, when you identify and they can identify the anger moves. It can move the chi, it can move the flow. And now if we take that on a macro level, especially considering the things that are going on right now, right? Like, and a lot of it really started in 2020, like the anger behind some of these things when it comes to social justice and whatnot. It was the anger that actually created the movements, hence why they call them movements. And then, and that started a lot of the changes. Now, it may not be where they want it to be now, but it did initiate, it activated, it put things into motion. So it really is a matter of acknowledging that this anger is welling up, and what can we do with this anger versus it just kind of like not being rooted, because it can have this energy of really being just widespread and it can run loose, right? Like we know that. At the same token, though, the other organ systems can root it. So there is this expression of this anger in this way, and how can we do it? And while at the same time, because you're perfect, all exist, it can stay rooted, right? And so it's just, yeah, like if you can get in there and explore those different emotions, it changed the way I thought about joy, because I was always like, "Well," I mean, I was naturally like this all the time, like happy and go, and then realizing there's pathological joy, and I was like, what? And so then, and because you could dismiss the presence of the other emotions, and then now they're in your body because you don't even know how to deal with it. And like I said, worry and grief and fear. right? Like that's all the five. And 4 out of 5 of them are the ones that people try to run away from, right? So it's like we're trying to run
Yes.
away from ourselves, but but they really hold wisdom and can guide you and give you insight into, what's going on for you, as well as who you are and your authenticity and how that is expressing or not expressing in your life. It just might take some learning. Like I'm like, oh, you just gotta, they're messages, honey. You just gotta pick up the phone, like see what happens when you put them together. The little operator can put them together. Old school people, there it wasn't always the touch phones, but like we're gonna connect that one into one end. I'll connect you, like it's
Yep,
like
that's
calling
right.
411. Like
Yes. Yep, we remember. Mm, yeah, yeah, that's important work right there that you're doing. And you are working with people to help them realize their perfection, to lead authentically in their life, and helping them understand how that influences their health and their entire holistic being, right? So
yeah.
who do you work with? Who are your clients?
I would say that it's going to be anybody that realizes that this is a journey. And so they have experimented with the different things. Like, it's the herbs, it's the supplements, it's human design, it's astrology. They've gone and just really tapped their toe into all of these. And yet they still feel like there could be more. Um, and what I found is my role with those people is I'm great at synthesizing it and integrating it. And so to kind of take it from the mental, oh, I'm reading and learning about it, but how can I really integrate it? And also shifting it where they get to see that they're simply tools and being okay with switching it up. So like in some spaces you're kind of persecuted if you are the type that dabbles in all of these, and there's a lot of judgments that are passed if you are. That's not the case on the perfect playground. I myself have various interests and honor that we all are in different phases. We go into different phases, and at each of those phases, there's different tools that we would like to use, right? And it's just a matter of integrating those tools and while delicately not depending and becoming reliant on it, right? So I would say it's those type of people that are open to that. They understand holistic being, the spiritual, emotional, mental, and the physical and environment all together. They are leaders actually as well, like and that could be leading in their home with family, some of them even being care people. I'm changing my language to not say caregiver, but they might use that word still. um and then all the way up to like executives and entrepreneurs, right? Like they're leading in some way, even in their church groups or whatever it is. The notion is though that they feel so split between all of those roles. And I'm like, well, hey, we're going to activate your perfection, your wholeness, which means we're going to integrate and pull it all together into one. And then that you see that you don't have to be wearing masks going between each of these roles. If we can support you to see that it's who you are, really, your authentic being that can express in these different areas. And the byproduct is holistically your health will serve as your wisdom, guidance, and then it optimizes. Right. So I would those are my peeps that are just like willing to really like play with it, and they just want someone to synthesize everything, like integrate it, strategize. They want to be who they are. They just may not know who that is. It's the meaning for them in life and in relationships that they're looking for now because they've gotten to a certain point. And it's like Yeah, I got you. You- It's the self-love. I one day I was writing and I was like, it's all the selves that are involved in here. All the selves. The image, the confidence, the the love, the care,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
esteem, all the selves are right here. And this is where the third R comes in out of the three R's. So it's relationships, responsibility, and the third one is resource. So your resourcefulness and source is actually being you, and your core authentic being is coming home.
I love that. I love that. And so when they work with you and they are able to finally sense some of this alignment and integration, what does that feel like? Like, what is that like for them in their body and in their life?
That's such a juicy question. Okay, so it's okay. So I can remark in the way that I've had people explain it to me from their experience.
Yeah.
Even when they have written it down, for me, like in testimonials, I can read it from their words, but it's this sense that literally they felt like they could be the same in a different going between different spots. So whether it was with a client, with family, or in a grocery store, they felt like they could be the same. It is the having this, like, if there were certain things that might happen in a space, they would usually have a reaction where it would be like they would just be really angry, or they might actually shrink, like they feel like they can't speak up for themselves, or they can't say something, or they, oh, I can't do that, I can't be that, like, and then now they actually see that they can, and that, holy guacamole, my kids are actually doing XYZ, or my partner actually did XYZ. Right? Like, it's those, just those types of descriptions that ends up coming, or it's like, some of my favorite ones, and it's probably because I'm an entrepreneur myself, and so, like, I love working with other entrepreneurs that are trying to, like, they realize they created the business because they wanted the business to support them, but they actually, the business is not, it's kind of like draining in a way. And so it's seeing that, yes, all the marketing strategies work. All of the business models work. What we need to do though is find out who are you, at as much we can get out from right now, because you are going to keep discovering more as you be along the way. But like right now, who are you? And then you actually, the model will speak to you. The marketing will speak to you. The structure of whatever program or service is going to speak to you. So then that way you ought not end your day drained. You'd end your day at peace. Right? Like that's the intention. And then it's like, so to hear from them, like, oh my gosh, like one of them that just did a VIP day was like, we just literally we had gotten farther with you in these few hours than I did months in this other coaching program.
Yeah.
And it was really just more about creating the space. Just be as honest and radically real with you as you can. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna try to hide some stuff, but I'm really great at seeing through that, in a way that is, it's intuitive, definitely intuitive, but then also stories just come out. Like people just feel comfortable. So they just kind of like things come and it's helpful because in that way I can reflect it and then we can work with that, to design what it is that you ultimately want to design. So when I'm talking about environments, it's like what environment
Mm.
is going to be conducive to supporting you to continue to be who you are, and you're intentionally creating environments as well. So it's going back and forth, because wherever you are, there's going to be that energy exchange. So you don't have to necessarily be passive in it as much, so we can be active in it. So I'll say, like, those are some of the things that I've heard, like, for sure. And then byproducts, like I said, is the health stuff. So like it turns from self-deprecating language about the body into, okay, so this is what's happening. Let me tune in to see what it's telling me instead. Right. And then that's how you can shift that relationship with self This is how you start to really gain more trust into your body. Um, especially when people may have been going through more mental type processes
Mhm.
to for them to actually process any traumatic experiences that may have involved the body, where that promoted dissociation. And so instead, these are gentle ways that you're actually beginning to integrate into the body again and trust that the body's on your side more. And then it's just a building muscle. And then the more you do it, the more you see it happening for you, then you'll start to really just like come together. And it's like, harmony, right?
Powerful, powerful. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Really cool. So I know we need to get ready to wrap it up. We're both moving on after this little chat, and
Yeah.
I don't want to hold you past your obligation. So if somebody wants to work with you, they want to know more, they can go to your website,
Mhm.
denisiahilton.com. And we've got a link. We'll put that all under the video for you guys. So don't worry, you can just go down and click it. But it's
Click, click.
denisiahilton.com/match game. You can just click. But what will they find there and how can they work with you?
Okay, so you heard how I was kind of like talking about the association between some of the holistic, like the whole body self is what I'll call it. The holistic perspective of what you might experience as symptoms, and then you can kind of see these linkages into how it is that you lead in life. So that match game is just that. It's for you to answer the call. Let ring ring and just don't send it to voicemail now. Like that's what we've been doing so far. But like go ahead, pick up the phone and just a way to present something in front of people to be able to see how these symptoms are linked to their leadership style and leadership qualities. And so with that, it's a simple little game and then you're guided through it, just a micro mini play shop by me as well, to give you a little taste of some things. And then, from there, you can get to see like, how do I want to play on the perfect playground? And you can do that however you choose.
Amazing. Awesome. So cool. So yeah, go on there, y'all. Answer the call. So go on there, do the match game, learn more about Denicia, and connect with her. Make sure you follow her on, Instagram, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really intense, powerful work that you do. So thank you for that.
And we get to play while doing
And,
it.
and you have fun doing it. You get
Yeah.
to play doing it. I mean, your energy is playful and feels safe. I feel to people like it feels like a safe, fun place to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, we feel that from you for sure.
Yay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you making time to be here to meet, our audience and, letting them learn more about you. And you are the answer that somebody's looking for right now. So they're going to follow through and connect with you. And we are grateful for you for that. Thank you. All right, Denicia, have a great day. And everyone, I'm going to go ahead and close it up for today. Make sure you subscribe at WellNest Global on YouTube so you don't miss meeting any of these amazing people around the world. And we'll see you back here next time.